What? The food? What? I mean, this is an area of history that's just like so deep.
And over the baguette.
Themes of empire, mission, inheritance, and destiny. Hello and welcome back to What the Food. We've taken a break and we're back. It feels good to be back. We've taken, 3 weeks off or something? Maybe more?
Yeah,
4 weeks?
three and a bit weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. In that time, I chilled out, cleaned the car. I think I put on a couple of pounds. I've eaten a bit too much food. Andy has got married and bought a house. So you kind of make me look a bit lazy in the time that I've had off.
No.
You mad bastard.
You were doing bits. That car was filthy, to be fair. So it was a big old job to clean that.
It wasn't that bad. No, it was horrendous.
Do you have a nice break though?
Yeah, it was nice. It's very nice. Lots of walks.
Go anywhere nice? You go maybe sun yourself in the south of France, maybe? Or
No. Just like up the road to the Dales.
Yeah.
Staycation.
Nice. Well, that's over now. It's back to the grind, back to your little editing cave for the rest of the year, okay? I don't want to hear a peep at you, all right?
See you later.
None of these little sunny Saturday walks to the Dales. None of these barbecuing on a Sunday, mate.
It's over. Hope you enjoyed it.
You got to be editing. The people want you to be editing.
Yeah, my girlfriend has realised that she actually had a boyfriend these past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well,
she's like, where did this guy come from?
That's going to change again, I'm afraid.
It's worth it. Do you know what? It's a sacrifice that I am willing to make because best podcast on the planet, in my opinion. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. There's 10 reviews that our family members have left have really backed that up as well.
Yeah, and it's all, concreted with that lovely influx of cash that we get from doing this too.
Yeah.
That's always helpful, isn't it?
Exactly. Shout out Nan, 5 stars.
Shout out Nan. Shout out Mum, 5 stars. Love it.
5 stars.
So for those of you that have never listened to the podcast, this is a podcast that aims to uncover the fascinating origin stories behind dishes, food items and drinks from all around the world, popular and some obscure. So today, what are we looking at, Andy?
Well, today is definitely not obscure.
No.
And the way that I kind of had the idea to cover this topic was over our short break. I was contemplating what to cover, what our kind of first food or drink should be. And it dawned on me one morning as I was making a fat stack of pancakes.
Ooh.
Yeah, so as I finished kind of flipping the last pancake, turned my attention to toppings, as you do, reaching into one of the cupboards in my kitchen. Don't know why I said it like that, because I'm doing
getting the blow by
when I've got multiple cupboards in my kitchen.
yeah. Like, so everything's so specific. Like, walked in barefoot, no socks, not sure why. Went up to the counter, left cupboard, not sure, don't know why.
Not sure. Reaching in, I felt a familiar shaped jar. The jar was waiting, begging to be pulled out and utilised once again.
It had some heft to it.
It had some heft to it. And it's the contents of the jar that is the first topic that we're going to be covering now that we're back, Milo. And today we're going to be covering Nutella, the origins of Nutella.
It's a big one because it's a household name, isn't it? This is not an obscure. This is a popular dish.
This is a popular dish.
Food item.
Yeah, I'd say so.
People really love Nutella.
They do.
We were talking just before we started recording. There's certain brands that don't really have much of a competitor at the same level. I feel like Nutella's kind of one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're thinking about chocolate spreads, you are thinking about Nutella.
They have a few like pretenders knocking around, don't they? Like supermarket own hazelnut chocolate spread. But you're right. People love it, and we love it. We have a little bit of history with it, don't we, Miles?
I was hoping you wouldn't bring this up. Do you want to, or do you want me? We're here now. We have to.
Yeah, you can go if you want. You can go. You can tell the tale of 2 high school porkers.
The tale of 2 high school porkers. Well, back in the day when me and Andy were at school with each other, we were both kind of chunky boys. I'm still a chunky boy. Andy's not so much, but we were both, porky boys. And one day I stayed over at Andy's house, and the next morning we went over to Morrison's and to get some stuff for lunch. And I don't know what came out. I just don't know. I can't get my head around why we decided to do this. I really can't. But we picked up a jar of Nutella.
750 G's.
750 G's.
Yeah.
Not the 250, not the little single portion pot. We went for the 750G bad boy.
Yeah.
And we left Morrison's. with a spring in our step, walking back across the car park towards Andy's house. And
Not
we
a
were
long walk, by the way. Not a long walk. Probably about 4 minutes door to door, probably.
250 yards. And I don't know why, but we just couldn't wait to get back. So we started tucking in to a jar of Nutella on the walk back, using the malleability of the plastic lid as a scooping device to scoop up ridiculous amounts of Nutella to shove into our porky mouths.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did most of the jar.
I think half of the jar was gone by the time we got home. Yeah.
By the time we got back. And I just think for the poor people that would have seen that sight.
Yeah, because for the listeners as well, the walk back, you're going along a dual carriageway
Main
almost.
road.
Main road.
Like a road where it's worth having billboards on it that has that much traffic.
Yeah.
So it's fair to say we'd have been seen by a big bunch of people, and and we were just scranning Nutella raw. Oh God! Anyway, it's your fault, Andy. It's your fault.
Why is it my fault?
Because you brought it up. Your fault. I'm having to say all this.
Glimpse into our childhood there.
It's not my proudest moment.
But... No, but we both had great bods and picked up hot chicks on the regs, didn't we?
Oh, Nutella. Yeah. So it's not just us that love it. I think it's, maybe, no.
We're the biggest lovers.
We are the biggest lovers. We trump everybody else.
Everybody, yeah. It's a miracle that this podcast just isn't about Nutella exclusively.
Yeah. What, the Nutella? And every episode is just like another look at a different aspect of Nutella. Something that I came across that I thought was funny when I was doing like a little bit of research before this. I found a thread on Reddit that I thought I would just quickly blast through before we get into it.
Go on.
So the post was from I can't even see who it was. It's been deleted now, but it just says, "Do you love Nutella?" is the title of the thread, and I'm just going to quickly like rinse through some of the comments in order. I would eat a fucking corpse if it was covered in Nutella. Next comment. I'll eat the ones that aren't. We'll make a great team.
Jesus.
They should include this quote as a testimonial on the bottle. I'd buy products with the guts to do that.
Wait. Whoa. Where's this person living when Nutella comes in a bottle?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Germany, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, so next one. I would eat a fucking box of live kittens covered in Nutella just for the mere chance of eating a fucking corpse covered in Nutella.
Fucking hell, Jesus Christ.
I know.
All right, it kind of makes our story a bit more tame, doesn't it? More PG.
Yeah, this is what I'm going for. I'm trying to like take a bit of the heat off us. I eat it with cat food. Shut up, you fucking prawn. Pro tip, if you microwave the jar for a few seconds, you can chuck the whole thing and keel over and then die because your arteries are filling with chocolatey hazelnut goodness. Then you have to polish it off quick before it crystallizes. It's awesome, especially on crepes.
Perhaps it's just one normal person at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I use it on toast.
Yeah, boom.
Cheers, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So, we aren't the only ones, I would like to say.
We're not one of those people, though, Miles.
We're not.
No. Don't put us into the same camp as them. Nutella. So that's why we're all here today. So let's get into it, shall we? So what is Nutella? We always kind of start an episode by just looking into the item that we're going to be covering, food or drink. So let's start there. So Nutella Ferrero is one of the most famous and appreciated Italian excellencies in the world.
Excellencies.
Nice choice of the word, that. Excellency. But what actually is it? Well, Nutella is a brand of sweetened hazelnut cocoa spread. That's its kind of purest form of the definition of Nutella.
Sweetened hazelnut cocoa spread.
Cocoa spread. Exactly.
So it's not a chocolate spread with hazelnut. It's hazelnut with cocoa.
Spread. Exactly. So despite being called this, however, the primary ingredients in Nutella are neither hazelnuts or cocoa. They are instead sugar and palm oil.
Right. Brilliant. Okay.
Together combining more than 50% of the total ingredients. So 50% of the ingredients in Nutella are sugar and palm oil.
Oil and sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over 50%.
Over 50%. 13% is hazelnuts and 7% is cocoa. And the rest is fucking weird ass additives and whatever else.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is really not good for us.
No, really, really not good for us. I mean, in most countries, Nutella is actually marketed as hazelnut cream.
Okay.
And fun fact, under Italian law, it cannot be labelled as chocolate cream as it does not meet the minimum cocoa solids concentration criteria. It doesn't have enough cocoa in it to be labelled as chocolate.
Good. Yeah. Good. Because it's just not, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't actually find out what the threshold was. But the fact that Nutella kind of doesn't qualify surprised me a little bit.
For something that's so like chocolatey as well. Yeah, that's mad. That is mad.
Well, we'll get to kind of how it is so chocolatey. That's kind of part of the history of it. But it's it's crazy, isn't it? And in
palm oil as well. It's like that's got like really bad effects on the environment, hasn't it? Deforestation and
it does.
Destroying like habitats of orangutans and things like that.
It does. I think as of, we'll get into it maybe a bit later. I think I've got the exact dates, but as of mid 2000s, the palm oil that is used in Nutella has been sourced environmentally.
Right.
Apparently, they have kind of sorted it out where they're not destroying the rainforests. But
so back when we were eating it, walking across Morrison's car park, were we eating environmentally friendly palm oil, or
trees were on fire as we were shoveling that into our gobs?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that was we were
contributing. Exactly. So in a kind of standard UK jar of Nutella, you will find sugar, palm oil, hazelnuts, skimmed milk powder, fat reduced cocoa, emulsifiers that include lectins and vanillin. So they're kind of the main ingredients that are in Nutella kind of nowadays. And you might be surprised to hear that Nutella was not the first of its kind.
Okay.
No. So hazelnut spreads were being made back in Italy in 1806. And it's at this year and at this point in history that we start our origin story for Nutella.
Oh, so it's not the first, it's a copy.
Exactly. So the year is 1806. Lewis and Clark are on their jollies exploring the US. Horatio Nelson has just been buried, and Napoleon himself has just banned all trade with Britain.
Yeah, drawn a line in the sand, Napoleon.
He has. In this era as well, kind of the world is becoming a much smaller place, thanks to humans conquering the seas. And you've got exciting spices, foods and resources from the Americas, now commonplace in Europe, kind of largely thanks to our good old friends, the Spaniards, doing their Spanish thing, conquering the new world, making everybody happy, and nobody died.
Yep.
One of those kind of new and exciting foods was, of course, chocolate. So the Spaniards introduced cocoa to Europe in the 1500s, and quite rightly, the Europeans went crazy for it.
Because one thing about us Europeans is we've got a sweet tooth, haven't we? We love sweet things.
We do.
We love our cakes and our pies and
sugar, just anything with sugar in it.
Tea with sugar, and
yeah. Well, Italy in particular was a big fan of chocolate, and kind of around the 1800s, some of Europe's best chocolatiers resided in the Piedmont region, which is like the very north of Italy, kind of around like Turin.
Can you grow cocoa beans in Italy? Is that why they had like a bit of a fixation with chocolate before we did?
No, I don't believe you can.
It probably got to them first, did it then? Maybe?
Exactly, yeah. So it was just on a port where kind of goods were brought in from the Americas and kind of traded in the Piedmont region.
Right, okay.
So they just had access to it, basically. So kind of around the Turin areas, these chocolatiers were producing some of the finest quality chocolate known to man. So kind of they've got that going for them. But in 1806, as I kind of said before, Napoleon banned all trade with Britain. And this was kind of called the Continental System. And it basically banned all British goods from entering ports under French control. And at this time, obviously, France is a massive empire that controls a lot of Italy, and obviously loads of areas throughout Europe, but specifically what we're interested in is the Italian control. And with kind of less and less cocoa coming into the region of Turin, prices skyrocketed, and local chocolatiers struggled to get their hands on the product that they needed to carry out the high level making of chocolate that they were doing.
High demand.
Exactly. And as we've seen before, when times get hard, people get creative, and creative they got. There are two theories kind of around the creation of Nutella's grandfather. Okay. One is that in 1852, a bloke called Michele Prochet had the idea of using hazelnuts to extend the supply of chocolate he had, and to basically extend the life of his chocolate supply.
Oh, so like water down the cocoa with the added hazelnuts.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And luckily for Michele, hazelnuts are bountiful in Piedmont, especially in the Langhe Hills in the south, to the south of Turin.
So they've got like an abundance of hazelnuts to use.
Yeah, and they're like top dish quality as well. Like they're like renowned for being incredible hazelnuts with a proper unique flavour.
I love hazelnuts. I think they're great.
Yeah, I don't really,
really
eat
nice
them
flavour.
just by themselves normally.
Well, it sounds weird, but like the flavour of hazelnuts is better than the eating experience. They're dry and kind of...
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
not the best eating experience, but the flavour of hazelnut in something else is brilliant.
It's good. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So what Michele did, or Prochet did, he created this combination with these hazelnuts and the kind of remaining chocolate that he had, and he created a product called Gianduja. Gianduja, yeah, and it's very much like a level 1 Nutella. Yeah. You know, proper starter gear, very little talent points or knowledge, very kind of base level starting point. And that's kind of one of the theories. But if this theory was true, it would mean that Prochet did all of this when he was just 13 years old. Now, not saying a 13-year-old lacks the ability to mix cocoa, sugar and hazelnuts together. You know, it's a pretty easy thing to do. Yeah. But maybe it's a bit of a stretch to say that a wee child invented the product.
Yeah, depends. I mean, back then there was less to do, wasn't there? You know, maybe you are just throwing things in a pot and mixing them, seeing what the fuck tastes good. Yeah, maybe. Another theory, and perhaps a more likely theory, is that a chocolate manufacturing company called Caffarel were the original inventors. This company was founded in Turin during the 19th century, and according to them, it was them who founded. According to me, it is me.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't really find like any other source that said it was them apart from them.
I'd rather it be the 13-year-old person. I'd much rather a human being be the person who's accounted for as the inventor, rather than just like the idea of a company being the inventor of it.
I do. Well, Caffarel was founded in 1826 by Pierre-Paul Caffarel, and what he did was he converted an ex-tannery into a chocolate factory.
Ooh, okay.
Do I want my chocolate leathery?
I was going to say, I was trying to make some connection there, but...
yeah, maybe I do, you know. Maybe a nice little leather chocolate with leather notes, maybe.
I don't know, like, with the percentage of cocoa that we found out that's actually in Nutella, fuck knows, you know, what else animal products are sneaking in there. Something else from the tannery.
Yes, something else from the tannery.
Something else from the bloody tannery, I'll tell you that now.
So Caffarel are thought to have been the original inventors of kind of a similar chocolate bite known as Gianduito. Some fucking Italian saying I'm absolutely nailing those pronunciations. But so this product that they made was basically a Nutella-shaped ingot that was wrapped in foil and eaten as like a little chocolate bite.
That sounds nice.
So it wasn't like a spread or anything like that. It kind of resembles like a Toblerone, but instead of like the full mountain range, you just get like a single
piece
bar.
Okay.
And, you know, wrapped in foil, kind of ready to just be popped into your mouth.
Are there little bits of hazelnut in Toblerone?
There are. Yeah, there are.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I knew that because obviously there's little bits of nugget, isn't there? Nougat. There are little white flecks in it, and I knew it was some kind of nut, but I wasn't sure if it was hazelnut or not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I love Toblerone. I think they're great.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It is very good. It is very good. Did you know that the reason... Well, actually, I don't know if this is a legit reason, but I had a bit of an epiphany when I wrote this bit about Toblerone and the full mountain range. Is Toblerone meant to be that shape because it's meant to show like...
Look like the mountain of the Swiss mountains.
Swiss Alps, yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Have I just made that up?
I mean, it's a very inconvenient shaped chocolate, isn't it? Like, not only to eat, but also to manufacture.
Many a times, like, I hurt my mouth on a bit of Toblerone. Many
absolutely.
a times.
Even, like, I've hurt my fingers trying to snap it before.
Yeah, it's a strong chocolate.
It's a strong chocolate. So not only is it an inconvenience to those eating it, but also manufacturing it. They've had to create like really unique, specific molds for that, and it's probably come at quite a great cost to them at some point in time. So they must really care for the triangular shape.
Yeah. It's got to mean something.
Yeah. It would make sense that care and attention comes from the fact that they're proud of where they're from, and that would be the triangle shape of the mountains, maybe. I don't know. That makes sense.
Maybe.
We'll do an episode on Toblerone.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Next week.
Next week.
Just chocolate now.
Just chocolate. That's all we do, yeah.
Yorkie the week after. Not for girls. I can't believe they would never get away with that these days, would they?
No, they really wouldn't.
That's an advertising campaign that is not future-proof.
No. No.
Not for girls.
Not for girls. Not great. So on the back of his kind of this invention, the precursor to Toblerone, these little bites, he Caffarel is thought to have produced kind of another new type of chocolate in 1852 by mixing cocoa, sugar, and these high quality hazelnuts that are renowned in the area. And in 1865, he then began producing it kind of regularly, and he called the product Gianduja. So 2 different claims there. Which do you think is more likely? The 13-year-old boy kind of mixing potions in his kitchen, or the chocolate company?
I don't know. Now that we've delved into the corporation one, I think maybe that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
Because they've got the means, they've got the technology, haven't they, to do that?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like as well, when you're mixing it, it's going to be quite hard to do, isn't it? Like you've got. Well, I don't know. With the mortar and pestle, you could probably do it fine, but you've got to grind everything up, and I think like having a factory would help with that process.
Yeah, I'd say so. And at this point, obviously, we're not talking about like spreads either. This isn't spreadable at all at the moment. It's basically like a brick.
Right. So it's just like hazelnut infused chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Brick.
The name, by the way, has an interesting etymology, the Gianduja. So before kind of Gianduja had any connection to chocolate, it was the name of a famous masked character of popular kind of Italian culture in kind of a theatre.
Yeah.
So wearing kind of a tricorn hat and a brown jacket with kind of reddish borders, Gianduja is like an honest peasant of the Piemontese countryside.
Right, okay.
And his like whole character symbolises the cheerfulness of the northern region of Piedmont.
Whoa. So it all plays into chocolate, it's a cheery thing. It makes you feel good.
Exactly.
And he was also wearing a brown jacket, did you say?
Yeah, he was. Brown jacket, red borders. Yeah.
Yeah? Kind of colours of chocolate sometimes.
Sometimes brown and red.
Well, the red bit maybe not, but the brown bit. They were well into their masks in Italy, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like theatre and...
Yeah, even today, like the character today is considered like, is used as like the official carnival mask in Torino.
No way.
And is worn kind of throughout festivities.
Venice, they do a lot of... They have the Venetian masks, don't they?
They do. Yeah, they do.
They're kind of famous for their mask making.
Exactly. But this kind of practice wouldn't last forever. Obviously, with once kind of the war between the British and the French ended, the supply of cocoa returned, and people kind of didn't need to put hazelnuts in their chocolate anymore to kind of make things last. So kind of the pure style came back in. Less people used hazelnuts, and kind of things went back to normal. And hazelnuts fell out of favour, really. They fell out of favour until kind of war ravaged Europe again. Hazelnuts and war kind of seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah. If you look down at your plate of food and there's hazelnuts, just know you're at war.
You're at war.
Yeah.
So 100 or so years after the blockade had been put in place by Napoleon, war once again ravaged Europe. Different enemy this time, though. It was, of course, World War II, the Nazis, and Adolf Hitler.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Probably the biggest of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
So as war ravaged the globe, food rationing across Europe was of course in full effect, and the luxuries of life were in very short supply again. This meant that not only was chocolate incredibly expensive to buy, but it was almost impossible to actually find a bar. So in regions like Piedmont, which was rife with expert chocolatiers who had been practicing their craft for years, this was a massive problem.
Yeah.
But again,
you don't need chocolate, do you? It's a purely luxury item, isn't it?
Exactly. It's not part of your 5 a day, is it? No.
Well, me and you at 14 it was.
Yeah. 5 jars a day.
Jesus. Yeah, it's healthy in it. It's got nuts in it. Am I right? No. All right.
But as kind of what happened during Napoleon's time, one man decided that he was going to do something about it.
One man to bring back chocolate.
Yeah, like a feature film, a Michael Bay
starring
film.
Nicolas Cage.
As the one man.
As the one man, unnamed, but he brings back chocolate.
So this one man was going to find a way to continue making great tasting chocolate dishes despite the lack of actual chocolate knocking about. And this man was a Piedmontese pastry chef known as Pietro Ferrero.
Ferrero? Oh, I've heard of that name before.
You've heard of it. So Pietro was born on the 2nd of September 1898, and he is the original founder of Ferrero International, an Italian confectionery and chocolatier company that, of course, you will no doubt have heard of. These are the guys that are making Ferrero Rochers, Nutella, Kinder, Tic Tacs, and much more. All sorts of shit.
Kinder.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like Ferrero as a company specialise in chocolate that has very little chocolate content. Kinder is kind of known for its like creaminess, and it's basically like milk that you're eating.
Yep.
Like hard milk.
Bars of milk, yeah.
So, they've got a little niche Ferrero of just making chocolate that's not actually chocolate.
Yeah, it's that palm oil. They got that palm oil on lockdown.
Yeah, haven't they? Yeah, because I bet that's in Kinder as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kinda
it will be.
It's silkiness and
Yeah.
mad. We know what you're up to, Ferrero.
We know what you're up to. So, yeah, I mean, today they're obviously a global powerhouse, but back then, you know, Pietro owned a small bakery in the town of Alba. Tiny little bakery, kind of was nothing really.
Yeah.
But Alba itself is a town that is known locally for kind of producing some top quality hazelnuts. So he had a good base. He had a good supply. He had a good plug, basically. Thinking of these top quality hazelnuts, Pietro had an idea. Well, he had loads of ideas, to be fair. He was like a tireless inventor. So a quote that we have from Pietro's son states,
he had inventor syndrome. He would wake up at any hour, go to the laboratories, and right in the middle of the night, would wake up his wife saying, taste this. This is a great recipe.
So that was from his grandson, Giovanni Ferrero, who's like the head of Ferrero now.
He's just constantly inventing. And he just would wake up his wife in the middle of the night saying, taste this, it's a great recipe. I mean, I'm always up for someone coming over and saying, taste this, I think it's amazing. At 4 a.m? I don't know.
No, I wouldn't like to be awoken to someone holding a Kinder Egg and being like, try this.
Pietro, please. I'm up at the crack of dawn. I've got to take the bisons down to the river for a wash. I do not need this chocolate.
Down to the river for a wash.
I don't know. I just tried to come up with a...
How do you think people in Italy live, man?
With a task of the 18th century.
Bisons down by the river.
I don't know. Got dirty bisons, man.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if they're dirty?
I don't know. You want to keep them healthy for the bison milk.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not from the 18th century, Italian hills.
There's just bison roaming around. Those North American bison just roaming freely around.
Yeah. Anyway, you look like in this podcast. I'll say a bunch of clever shit. Maybe not.
maybe not.
And then occasionally, I will let slip how actual stupid I am.
Yeah.
And this is one of those occasions.
That's one of it. Yeah, mark it. Anyway, so he's a tireless inventor, but the idea that we're interested in now is the one where he would basically reintroduce the method that the guy that we talked about before, the Prochet, invented all those years ago to make gianduja. But he would do things a little differently. Pietro would do things a little differently. So being a pastry chef, he actually made his gianduja into kind of a loaf that you could cut and actually spread onto an actual loaf.
Right. Yeah, I got you. So it's like a rectangle wedge of it that you slice.
It's like a Nutella log, basically. Which just saying that aloud has got me salivating.
Yeah, it's got my 14-year-old self shivering with excitement.
Yeah. I feel my blood sugar just rising just by the name of it.
What was that?
Why don't they do Nutella bars?
Well, do you know what they do? They do a Nutella bar that's kind of like got wafer around it.
No. I'm not talking.
You think
about,
okay.
Talking about, you get a jar of Nutella and you get a mold and you put that jar in the mold and you, I don't know, freeze it or whatever.
It's too wet though, isn't it?
Well, you dry it up with a hairdryer or something.
Dry it up, mate. I mean, I think you are on something. They could make a version of Nutella that sets and put that into a bar, because I think that would do well. Yeah. There is a bar that's got wafer around it. It's like Kinder Buenos, but like Nutella version, and they're a bit wider and flatter.
Just the wafer's just taking up space in it.
Yeah, ditch the wafer. Just give me the good shit.
Missing a trick there.
Yeah.
So this product that he made, this gianduja, he actually called it pasta gianduja, which I couldn't really find why he called it that, but that's what it was known as. And he wrapped it in aluminium foil and kind of cut it into slices. Oh. Again, nice little reference with the foil. One of the reasons why Ferrero Rocher's wrapped in foil. Nods to the history. So this gianduja was like a semi-solid product. It was kind of like butter, but like well-hard butter. And basically you needed a knife to cut it before it could be eaten. It would last an absolute age as well, making it kind of super convenient for consumers. So mothers would send their children to buy kind of the famous panettone bread, and they would buy this little spread as well, and they would spread this lovely hazelnut, chocolate butter, the gianduja, onto the bread and kind of intensify the flavors.
That sounds awesome. I mean, that's one of the positives of it not having much dairy content is the fact that it does last a long time. When you buy a jar of Nutella, it can sit in your cupboard for fucking ages, can't it?
Exactly.
So that's, I guess, one of the pros of it, having this extra shit in it is that it does last ages. Yeah. It's quite a convenient food item, isn't it?
Yeah,
in that sense.
Definitely. Very convenient. And it was, at the time, it was obviously a way of offering kind of an out of reach wartime luxury to people during wartime.
Keep morale up.
Exactly.
Keep people happy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the Italians need kind of all the morale that they can get because things don't go well for them.
No.
Anyway, Pietro sold his level 1 Nutella log right up into his eventual death in 1949. And it might have ended all there for the Ferreros had a certain son not been waiting in the wings, ready to grab the hazelnuts and run with them.
Whoa.
And that son was Michele. Or Michele. I think it's Michele.
Michele.
It's basically Michelle, but manly.
Michelle.
It's Michele. Definitely Michele.
Michele.
So Michele was Pietro's son, and he started kind of when Pietro started out in the 1940s, he did so with his son. And together they kind of transformed the pastry shop into a factory, with kind of the Ferrero family being the first Italian manufacturer after World War II to open production sites and offices abroad in the kind of confectionery sector. So they were very much like the first people to do that.
To the forefront of that, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And they turned kind of the company into a truly international group. So kind of these first and decisive steps were thanks to the products invented by Pietro and his son, and kind of that level 1 Nutella log, the starting point for things. But as we've kind of said, it was a bastard to spread, right? If your bread was too soft, there was 100% chance that spreading that paste would result in a hole, like 100% chance.
Yeah.
So going back to the drawing board, Ferrero, Michelle. So Pietro's died at this point. Ferrero is leading the company. He went back to the drawing board and...
How do I make this more slippery?
I make this more slippery for the bread. So in 1951, they adapted their original kind of gianduja recipe into the super crema gianduja.
Oh, super crema.
Super crema. So the super crema was a much more spreadable version of Pietro's original invention, and it was much closer to the kind of the good stuff we know and love today.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like you get the people that start these companies, like his dad, Pietro, and he's like coming up with the original recipe and the original concept. And then he's quite lucky that he's got a son. I mean, I know he kind of dies and he doesn't get to see the full scope of his ideas, but then he's lucky enough to have a son who's kind of understands technology and the ideas of taking it out to the rest of the world. But I wonder how many people have come up with amazing recipes on the small scale, but not had the means or even just not passed down the recipe to their sons and daughters.
Had a child that just wasn't interested.
Yeah, and because Michelle could have just easily have been like, I don't want to do this, and just went off and washed bisons instead. So it's like, how many other things have we missed?
Exactly.
That just haven't been passed down.
Yeah. How many Nutella logs are out there just
waiting to be made more slippery? I don't know.
Sad. So the company marketed their super crema gianduja to children specifically, because it was like...
Well, you get the kids, you get the adults. You get the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Mommy, Daddy, I want you.
Yeah.
And then, you've got the adults. You've got all of them.
Yeah.
You've got the whole family in it then at that point.
Easy.
Target the kids. That's what I say. Do not take that quote. Target the kids. That's what I say. Yeah. Miles Dickinson.
Clip that.
April 2022.
Yeah.
Don't take that.
Definitely going to clip it.
Oh, God.
Ruin your whole career with that quote.
You could take that snippet and do me in. Please don't. Didn't mean it like that. I meant marketing to children.
So this super crema gianduja was marketed to children. Shout out to Miles for that idea, and it was marketed as fun, sweet, and a luxurious treat to be had. But Michel was not done. His tinkering did not stop. He wanted it even more spreadable, even more chocolatey, even more hazelnutty.
Slow me.
And he wanted more money as well. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. That helps. that underpins the rest.
Yeah, 100%. So when his father died in 1949, when Pietro died, his son would have been about 24, and he basically, as I said before, took everything his father had taught him and absolutely ran with it. He in kind of 1963, he completely revamped the super crema again with the invention of marketing it throughout Europe. So he kind of knew that if he wanted his family's invention to be successful outside of Italy, it would need a catchier name and to be even more spreadable in its consistency.
Fair enough.
So like super crema, like, don't know, it doesn't really roll off the tongue for an English speaker, and for a German speaker, I imagine it's even worse. Super crema! Like, it's not great.
No. Need something more concise.
Exactly. So he got his whiteboard out and began brainstorming names and recipes. So through trial and error, he eventually achieved the consistency he was after by basically adding palm oil to the recipe.
Right, okay.
And kind of this odorless, neutral taste of palm oil. Basically, what it does is it ensures the smooth texture of Nutella, and it supposedly heightens the flavor and the aroma of all the other ingredients in the food. So it basically means you can use less hazelnuts, less cocoa with the palm oil, but still achieve kind of a high threshold of flavor because the palm oil is elevating what you have got in there. That makes sense.
Quite versatile.
Yeah. Now, as of 2022, the palm oil used in Nutella is apparently, according to the website, 100% sustainable. We don't want to get sued, so won't say it isn't, but they can supposedly fully trace all of their palm oil back to the mills in Malaysia and Indonesia, and I'm sure the working conditions there are
top
stellar.
notch.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 hygiene ratings. So he got himself sorted on the recipe front, but what about the name? What do you reckon the naming process would have been like? Where do you think you would have ended up on the naming side of things? So you've got Super Crema Shanduia. Now, obviously, you're not Italian, but if you had that name, how would you kind of go from there?
Creme spread.
Creme spread. Right. Creme
what
spread. So cum spread basically is like.
I know. Oh no, that wouldn't work. That would not work.
No,
creme spread. No. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Nutella. Is that what you landed on eventually? Nutella.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know. Nutella's not very elegant sounding, is it? I feel like he's gone for something that we would have called it that he's not really wouldn't have wanted to call it. I don't know.
I mean,
it's gone from something sounding quite like exquisite and delicious to like quite abrupt Nutella. Yeah, you know what I mean, I don't know. It's kind of lost a bit of its elegance, I think.
You say that, but like the name, so obviously the nut part of the word is derived from the English word for nut because it's got nuts in it. But the Ella bit is Latin, and it's the Latin suffix for sweet. So Ella.
Oh shit! So like sweet nuts. Sweet nuts.
Not sweet. Yeah. It also shares this Ella with other
creme spread from my sweet nuts.
Yep. Brilliant. Top notch.
God. It makes sense. I mean, it says everything you want it to say, doesn't it, Nutella?
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like we're missing a trick with the elegance and the kind of Italian artisan chocolatier angle that kind of could have been.
So you reckon you should have called it cum spread?
No.
This Ella as well, it also shares its name with kind of other soft foods in Italy, like mozzarella, caramella. Just signifies like a subtle subconscious.
Soft.
Yeah, soft.
Yeah.
This is soft. So the very first batch of Nutella was sold in April 1964. And 1 year later, the iconic kind of Nutella jar was designed in Germany in 1965. Right. So kind of after the war, just going back to this Germany thing, the company actually converted former Nazi missile factories into chocolate factories. And it's within these factories that they began kind of churning out the sweets and kind of gaining a foothold in Europe. Just came across this, kind of not really related, but the way that they kind of gained a foothold in Germany was they produced this cherry liqueur filled chocolate called Mon Chéri, and this was the thing that got the Germans hooked on Ferrero products. And it's kind of from that
built the trust.
Exactly.
It's interesting you say, because obviously like they started out by converting that tanning factory.
Yeah.
It's like another one of their niches is like converting factories that aren't prepared to make chocolate products.
Exactly.
Into what were they World War II missile factories?
Nazi missile factories, yeah.
Right. Well, I guess like when a war's finished, you kind of left with all this war stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That can be reused.
The Nazis did do a lot of stuff. So.
They did a lot of stuff.
The jars, by the way, interesting little marketing technique as well. So the jars were designed to kind of capture penny pinching customers that would reuse the containers. So they felt like they were getting two products in one, really. Like they would buy the Nutella for the kids, which the kids would enjoy, and then the parents would be left with a handy little jar that they could use for anything later down the line. So they're getting two products in one. basically.
They even carried on with that right through to modern day, haven't they, really? Because
I mean, I don't think I've ever reused a Nutella jar, but...
No, but you could. And I remember there's also a version of Nutella that came in a glass, didn't it? So it wasn't the kind of like round ovally jar. Do you remember it used to come in a glass sometimes?
Yeah, I know what you're about.
So you could reuse that as a drinking glass as well.
Exactly. Nutella's success in Europe was as swift as the Blitzkrieg, with kind of the Ferrero family quickly conquering Germany and France in kind of 1966, and then following on conquering the whole of the European market in a few years later. After that, Nutella landed in Australia, where the first non-European production plant was opened, and at the same time, the Ferrero, the company, had become a holding company of international level, and soon had kind of around 11 active production plants all over the world. So they really fucking grew very quickly.
Well, there's not much else like it, is there?
No.
I mean, obviously in that region of Italy there would have been, but for the rest of the world, it's a completely new product, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
We haven't tasted anything like this before. We've not seen anything like it before, so it's new and exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So, and that's kind of one of the reasons why it was so successful. So, according to estimates, more than 400,000 tons of Nutella have been consumed today, which is mental. 400,000 tons, that's insane. And Nutella alone accounts for 70% of the market share in the spreadable cream sector, which is nutty.
Hey.
And the records don't stop there. Like, if you gathered all of the jars of Nutella sold all over the world, some kind of like giant skip or something, whatever container you need to hold them all, you'd be able to cover an area 8 times the length of the Great Wall of China in Nutella.
Oh my God. They're churning it out.
Yeah, which the Great Wall of China is 13,171 miles long. So 8 times that is the amount of Nutella that's been sold and eaten. So that's 105,000 miles long of Nutella.
It's all down to this palm oil, because most of it, fucking, what do you say, 50% is sugar and palm oil?
Yeah.
I mean,
50%.
You can churn this stuff out if you're mixing it with palm oil.
Yeah, you can. But it's not all been palm oil and hazelnuts for Nutella since they joined. They've had their fair share of lawsuits and bad press, especially in the US. Okay. So in 2011, a Californian mum named Athena Hohenberg alleged in her legal complaint that she fed her 4-year-old daughter Nutella after seeing ads that represented the spread as nutritious and as part of a healthy breakfast.
Oh dear.
So Hohenberg's perception changed when she learned from friends, as her complaint says, Nutella was in fact not a healthy, nutritious food, but instead was the next best thing to a candy bar.
I mean, there's 2 sides to this coin. Yeah. One of them, read the fucking label of what you're eating before you eat it, because the information legally is on the back of it, so it's down to you as a consumer to make sure you're aware of what you're putting in your mouth.
Yeah.
Other side of the coin, they are cheeky with their marketing.
Yeah.
They make it look like it's healthy.
Yeah, exactly. They did have ads that were stating that Nutella could be enjoyed as part of a healthy breakfast, and it was kind of a good way to start the day. I do remember those ads.
Yeah. Kids eating it for breakfast and parents giving it to them, and all smiles on the faces, everyone looking healthy. Yeah. It's misleading, isn't it?
It is. But there comes a point where if something tastes exactly like chocolate, well, like even more chocolatey and creamier than chocolate, you twig on pretty fucking quickly that it's not going to be great for you, right?
No, it's going to be aligned with the nutritional value of said chocolate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Surely nobody has thought, while spreading Nutella, even with all these adverts and whatever, spreading this chocolate spread onto a piece of toast, that this is equivalent to an apple.
I know. I think it's the nut element, though, isn't it? People that aren't really kind of clued up on nutrition, they see nuts and they think nut equals healthy, because we're told nuts are healthy, they're good for us. But
maybe that's
like
it.
as we covered in peanut butter episode, nuts are healthy, but like when you grind them up into a paste, you've got so much fat in there.
Fat. Yeah, exactly.
So even Nutella in that sense is not going to be healthy, even if it is, even if you remove the palm oil and the sugar, like it's still lots of nuts. And
yeah, it's just mad to me to think there was a time in this woman's life that she was feeding a kid this chocolate paste, thinking this is really healthy and this is going to give her all the nutrients she needs. It's just, I just can't get my head around that.
No. And she wouldn't have been able to win that court case either, because the information's on the label. Like, you can't take someone to court for a lack of understanding something that's clearly written. Surely.
Well, kind of among other things that she wanted, aka money, Hohenberg's kind of lawsuit sought to stop Ferrero's marketing of Nutella as being healthy. So she kind of had like a bit of a good motive for it. She basically wanted to kind of make sure that they were running corrected ads to inform the public that Nutella isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Well, in 2012, Ferrero actually they settled it. They settled the case for $3 million. Not to her, the $3 million was put aside for consumers who were able to claim $4 per jar in compensation, up to a maximum of $20.
Right. Okay. So that, I mean, doing that's going to just kind of make people want to buy more Nutella, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You buy Nutella and you get some money back on it.
Money back. And I imagine they made the compensation process incredibly convoluted and difficult. So like the amount of people that would have taken a chunk out of that $3 million would have been, I bet they spent $500,000.
Yeah, definitely. What was there no clause included in that settlement to change the advertising tactics?
Yeah, they had to do that.
There was.
They had to do that. Yeah.
I mean that's fair enough. I think like it was misleading, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's creative ways you can still market a product to a high standard without having to deceive people.
Yeah, I think so. But to kind of just to put that amount, that $3 million into perspective. So in 2012, in the same year that they settled this case, the Ferrero Group made $9.5 billion.
Okay, so it's literally like 2p.
Drop in the ocean, pocket change. Yeah. Mental, isn't it? Mental. So Michel himself would live up to the ripe old age of 89, and he himself died in Monte Carlo, listed as Forbes' 20th richest man in the world.
Whoa. What a place to see out your days as well.
Yeah, it's where he lived.
Awesome.
Mainly because of tax. But in his lifetime, he managed to amass a personal wealth of $26 billion.
Oh, my God.
Which is insane.
Something else.
And upon his death, he left his entire fortune to his one living son, Giovanni. He did have another son who was called Pietro, but he died of a heart attack in 2011, age 47.
God. Awful.
That shows. I don't really know kind of how this heart attack came about, but I imagine it's because he was eating Nutella at the age of 0. Maybe we'll see. But as of April 2022, Giovanni, kind of the heir or the ruling member of the ruler of the Ferrero Group, is now worth $36 billion. So he's added just a cheeky $10 billion onto his father's fortune.
Oh my God.
And he's the 36th richest man in the world and the richest man in Italy.
My God, 36th richest man in the world from chocolate spread. It just goes to show, like, when you've got your entrepreneurial hat on, thinking about what the next best idea is, chocolate spread at one point was the one.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't shelve your idea until you've fully fleshed it out.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. That's might get that in my kitchen, that quote. Like a live, laugh, love quote.
Don't shelve that idea. For Michelle, it all started with chocolate spread. Mural on the kitchen.
Yeah, get that on Etsy, mate. You fucking get a few sales each week on that.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I start my empire.
Yeah. Now, quotes. Not been done before. Quotes.
Yeah. Chocolate quotes. Just chocolate themed quotes.
That's a proper niche audience.
Be smooth, like Nutella.
There's a glass of milk in every bar.
Yeah. Always point upwards, like a Toblerone.
Always point upwards. What does that mean? Oh, God. Terrible. So with kind of billionaires, when I was doing the research, like I was expecting to get some juicy details on how much of an absolute monster they were. Because to be a billionaire, you really have to be a bit of a cunt.
At some point,
in your life, you have to have kind of leveraged some kind of bastardism.
You have to knock people off.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had to kill someone at some point.
Exactly.
Whether that's yourself or through business means.
Yep. Spoken like a true businessman there, Miles.
The amount of things I start saying on this podcast and don't know where I'm going with it. It's becoming an issue. Oh, God.
But no, not for this guy. For my research, every article I found on Michele Ferrero was incredibly positive.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy. He was highly religious dude, and his faith kind of affected the company greatly. He had a statue of the Madonna, not the pop singer, the religious figure.
With a shell bra on. It's the queen of pop.
It's a queen of pop. She makes the Nutella extra smooth.
Extra smooth. Madonna.
No, he had a statue of the Madonna at every Ferrero plant and every Ferrero office to watch over the employees. Probably had like camera in the eyes or something like that just to make sure they weren't slacking.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was doing a dead nice thing, dead religious thing, but no, he was actually just using it to spy on.
It's just like infrared cameras.
Yeah, exactly. He had a keen emphasis on social responsibility, with the company providing healthcare, childcare, and kind of cultural activities for all its employers. A quote we have from kind of the current, he is the current Italian president, Sergio Mattarella. This quote is from when Michelle passed away. It says,
I have learned with emotion of the passing of Michel Ferrero, a true entrepreneur, known and loved in Italy and abroad. Italy remembers him with gratitude.
This is very strange. Very kind of, you don't get, this kind of glowing reviews from most billionaires that are out there.
Yeah, billionaire, like conglomerate folk.
Yeah, exactly. When he was alive, he wore dark glasses in public, and he was intensely private in kind of almost all manners. He never gave any public newspaper interviews, despite kind of being coined the real life Willy Wonka, which is cool. In his tax haven home of Monte Carlo, he had a private chocolate laboratory, which is pretty fucking wild to think about, isn't it?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
I read this article. I'll share it on the Instagram when this episode comes out. It's basically one of the journalists from The Guardian is like one of the only people to have been allowed to go into this chocolate laboratory, and he like gives an account of it, and
that's awesome.
I'll link it so you guys can read it, but it's sounds crazy.
Evil chocolate layer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah
Just layer, not layer.
Layer.
Chocolate layer.
Chocolate
Layer. Chocolate layer.
Layers of chocolate in my chocolate layer.
Oh, bloody hell.
Anyway, there you go. The history of Nutella. A jar of joy that was birthed as a result of a naval blockade by Napoleon himself. Reborn thanks to Hitler and his Nazis, and made into the global powerhouse it is today thanks to the vision of Michel Ferrero and the Ferrero family.
Nutella.
Bloody
hell.
Nutella.
So that one decision of Napoleon to cut off the British is what led to the 36th richest man in the world.
Yeah.
And a soft spreadable chocolate empire.
Insane, isn't it? Saying these little kind of butterfly effects that affects.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure that Napoleon will crop up again. So his decisions throughout Napoleon's career, like just for an example, for someone just to hone in on here, like there'll be other foods that have come off of decisions that he's made.
Yeah.
Just because that's how fucking history works, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Decisions are made, and like you said, butterfly effects and ripples, and people are born, people are killed, and things happen. Mad.
Crazy.
What the hell? That's crazy.
Yeah. It's also cool because this is like the first kind of like brand of food that we've done, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. So it's kind of an interesting avenue for us to go down, because these companies have a lot of history as well, and in some cases will have a lot more kind of human history as well. So you get kind of more of the political kind of intrigue and the infighting and the conspiracies, and like I imagine if we ever cover like Nestle or anything like that, there'll be some horrendous shit that we'll have to cover. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right though, aren't you? Because it's like the brands are ran by people, and there's things that happen within those brands to help them grow, and or if things happen that damage the brand, it's all part of that story, isn't it? Yeah. I imagine we'll have to get a team of lawyers on hand when we cover some of these companies. Oh dear. Oh, that was awesome. A smashing one for the first one back. Smashing one for sure. For the first one back. Feels good to be back. Feels good. Back doing it. Feels good. Episode 21. This one is. Episode 21. Yeah. The next series that we're working on is going to be a good one, I think. With a bang. Probably a two-parter, I think. Probably. Oh, it's been a while since we've done the two-parter. Well, there you go. Nutella. I'm going to... Well, actually, no, I was going to say I'm going to get some Nutella soon, but I'm not, because I just don't eat that anymore, really. No. I'm a new man. Yeah. What do you eat instead? I don't see... I don't know. I like Marmite on my toast these days. Yeah. Big Marmite fan. My taste buds have elevated. They need a bit more of a slap in the morning to wake me up. You know, people do like PB&J. Yeah. You reckon you could do Marmite and Nutella? Do you reckon that'd be like? Ooh. Don't know. Marmite and peanut butter works. Exactly. And I saw you eating them Marmite hot cross buns as well the other day.
Oh God, they were weird. They were really weird.
Not good.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Ah.
They were from M&S. They were Marmite and cheese hot cross buns. So
savoury hot cross
it was
buns.
like, yeah, but it was really weird. I don't know. I don't know if I liked it.
Sweet.
No, not sweet. And cheese, like, I don't know. There was no pieces of cheese in it, but the bread tasted intensely of like red Leicester cheese.
Wow, weird.
It was like a cheese bread,
So like
but also like
grated cheese
Marmite.
maybe in the batter, in the dough.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, in the dough. So it was like an intensely cheesy flavored bread, but then it also had Marmite through it as well. So it had like the aftertaste was kind of tangy.
Strange.
It was just my taste buds were all over the show. I didn't know what to make of it. Yeah, I ate them all though. So it must have been all right.
Just imagine by like the fourth one,
of my
just
life.
he's still dead confused. Like, what is
No,
this?
I was perplexed from the first mouthful to the last.
Yeah.
And I'm still not sure. Like, if I saw them, I don't know if I'd buy them again.
Nah, you would.
But then maybe
you'd
I
have
would.
to, yeah, you'd have to fucking conclude this.
Yeah, I need another go on these. I need to see what the situation is. Yeah, it's by like situating themselves in a grey area of taste that they actually promote the idea of buying more of them.
That's how they get
because
you. Yeah.
you want to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting marketing idea there.
Make a product that is questionably shit, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Marmite tangent. Marmite might be an interesting one. Speaking of spreads.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, because you've got like Vegemite over in Australia and the
Yeah,
competition between those two. Yeah, well, if you enjoyed that episode, please rate us. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts, and there's a new feature on Spotify now where you can rate podcasts as well. So if you could head there and give us a review on there, that'd be amazing. I think
really helps.
I think that it does. Yeah, I think it really does help. I think it helps us show up in other people's searches if we're higher rated and things like that. So if you could take a minute to do that, it would be awesome. And also, send us an email on our email address. It's whatthefoodpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the podcast. And if you want to suggest a food item or a dish or a drink for us to cover, feel free to do that and we'll give you a shout out and do an episode. So get in touch. I think that's everything.
I think it is. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode. Thanks for listening.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.